For decades, I've been dreaming of a project car worthy of one of the few material possessions I have left from my dad, the 5-liter engine from the last car he ever drove. The concept is inspired by 1960 supercars and built on a salvaged Porsche chassis. Last week, we buttoned up the cooling system and began forming the final panels for the fenders. This week, we add some much-needed structure to the front end. All that and more in this week's episode of Project Jigsaw. Now that we have all these panels attached to the structure of our clamshell, one thing's become very apparent. We need more strength in this hinge, so we're gonna get these panels off and look at what we need to do to reinforce them. When we initially built these hinges, we only used 2 struts. We wanted to stay out of the way of our bodywork that we hadn't built yet. We didn't know where our air shroud was going to be, so we kept it pretty simple. That was plenty to support this lightweight cage. Now that we're adding all this sheet, it's starting to flex too much, and we're gonna need to reinforce and beef this hinge up so that it can support the weight of the full clamshell. I think what we want to start with initially is another strut that goes from the hinge out to this side of the car, either this corner or up into that corner.
Probably that junction, I think, would be the strongest.
Yep, I think it probably would be.
Just don't want to get in the way of anything.
That's the other problem. Yep. Well, yeah, depending on you know where it has to come across and we start. Yep.
Depending on what? What's the other phrase you used in that?
You know what I said.
You know what that means?
You know what I said, and I know what it means.
What did we learn?
You know what we learned. I keep thinking about what fuel induction system we want to put on the engine, and I know it's not this single carburetor because I want to use electronic fuel injection. I want the feedback you get from an oxygen sensor that allows you to adjust it for maximum power and results. For our Porsche slant nose project, we used an engine management system, and the information we got from the oxygen sensors was key for the performance and results that we were after. The cool thing is, I just found out about a handheld metabolic coach that lets you access similar information for your body. This video has been paid for and sponsored by Lumen. With just one breath first thing in the morning, Lumen can measure your metabolism. It lets you know if you're burning fat or carbs and allows you to make adjustments to your nutrition, workouts, sleep, and stress management. Yesterday, before my regular run, I breathed into the Lumen. It let me know that I was burning fat, and so I needed to add some extra carbs to fuel my workout. Lumen lets you know what's happening in your body real time and builds you a personalized health plan based on your real-time data. So if you want to take the next step to a fitter, healthier version of you, go to lumen.me/crucible or just click the link below and you'll get 15% off your Lumen.
So are we going carbureted or not?
Once you go feedback, you never go back. I'm kind of concerned if we go from the inside of here, which is where I'd prefer to put the load, out to here, that our new strut might interfere here or here when we open and close the clamshell.
Yeah, when I was initially thinking about that, I was thinking that's the strongest point, so it makes the most sense. But if the crash beam's in the way, / rad support, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, I think we'll just try and clamp this up or tie this, maybe duct tape this up and open and close the clamshell and see what we got.
The chances of you finding duct tape over here that close by
in 2 seconds
is near impossible because I don't keep duct tape over here. Duct tape is not great in the automotive world for the sense of like ruining paint and stuff.
Tell that to Red Green.
Who's Red Green? The Red Green Show. Quirky, playful, and hilarious. And also, why is his name Red Green? Is it so he can be invisible to colorblind people?
And you not.
In honor of you, Red Green, here we go. Actually, I think that'll work very nicely.
How close is that?
Not at all.
That's not even the same area code.
Nice. Duct tape is harder to disassemble than bolts.
What did I just say about duct tape in the body shop?
Well, you're still wrong.
Why are you being me today, Tony? You're not even using a tape measure.
I've got a different kind of tape measure.
We're all deleting this channel. This looks like an improvised weapon from that book with the kids that stab each other.
Lord of the Flies?
Yeah, that one. Safety first. Surprised you didn't use some duct tape and cut some slits in it.
You probably saw this 1974 914 in a short B-roll in last week's video. And if you've been watching for a while, you may have seen it on the rotisserie in the background because we replaced everything that rusts on a 914 on this car. It showed up as a rolling chassis that was really rusty. It's gonna leave as a beautiful painted rolling chassis in Alaska Blue Metallic.
Where we're going, we don't need copes. We're coping enough as it is with this build.
There we go. Now we just gotta weld them in.
I think you mean you this time, buddy.
Oh boy.
Tony has never welded aluminum once, he says. I think
true.
it's time. It's actually time for him to learn. I don't have to weld everything on this car.
It's a lot of welding, I don't blame you. Batteries are dead from me using it so much.
Yeah, so much.
They're probably the dead batteries out of yours when you stole them for your helmet.
I have no argument.
Burned right through. The fourth one is the worst one. So I felt like I was making some progress and getting somewhere. And then my very next weld, I did that.
Making a flute.
Yeah, but then you noticed, and actually it feels much lighter. This is a much thinner wall tubing.
Yeah, that's like aluminum fuel line. Yeah. That's not the tubing we're using, Tony.
What's it doing in that pile?
Don't worry about that.
I was sabotaged. It was a trap.
It's a trap!
How you feeling about it, Tony? You ready?
I'm getting amped up to go. I think we're there. That's not going anywhere.
There you go.
Oh boy. All right, here we go. Blew a big hole in the side, but we did get it attached. So
Step one, I get the top attached.
the hole or the top attached?
With your experience level, yes. Damn fun, Tony?
This is an amazing ride, and I can't wait to get on it again.
Oh, you're still on it.
Oh.
I'm not stepping in until you give up. And if I know Tony Miller, he's not gonna give up.
Yeah, that won't happen then. All right. I hope you're ready for this ride, because it might be a long one.
That's okay.
We didn't turn it back again.
That'll do it.
Gosh, it just blew a hole right through the end.
The fun of aluminium. So while Tony's welding, I'm going to tackle our bushing problem. Initially, we're going to use 2 of these bushings for each side, so they could like meet in the middle on the hinge. However, we're gonna change that. So what I'm doing here is I extended the file to be 1 bushing for each side, and that'll be trapped on the hinge. But first, let's 3D print them and then we'll see how they fit. that's running. Let's go check in on Tony and see how he's doing. I'm sure he's having a time. How's it going, Tony?
Well, it was going really, really well. And then I did something that I didn't think I was going to have to worry about at all.
What did you do?
I burnt through the really heavy tube that the bushing sits in.
You what? I didn't think you'd do that.
I didn't think I could. So ideally, I was thinking, let's put...
Oh my goodness!
Yep.
Tony, no!
Yeah, the clamshell was down in its closed position, and so this was on the back side, and I thought, well, I'll just do it there. I couldn't see what I was doing, apparently, because all of a sudden, it just disappeared.
I was wrong. I was like, oh, you can't make any damage I can't fix easily.
Yep.
Yeah,
look,
I was wrong.
Look what I didn't. I mean, I didn't do it here.
Yeah, that actually looks pretty good.
Thank you. Yeah, it was going really well, and I thought, well, I'll move down to this, and then, you know, I ran that little spot there, and everything was feeling good. I couldn't see, apparently.
Red, green. Wait, you're not colorblind?
Duct tape? Yeah, I'm not colorblind. I'm just near blind.
Tony. It's okay. There's worse things you could have done.
I guess. So I'm going to do what I should have done in the first place. Obviously, that's a lot easier to weld with this in this position. It's also easier to weld when you're not crawling on the floor.
Yeah.
So we talked about putting it up in the air earlier and didn't, and that was our first mistake, which we made early on.
We had intentions to cut this out from the very beginning. It was just to align the 2 pins for the hinges, and now it's no longer in the way, which is also in the way of the air intake duct for the radiator. Now that we cut the tubing out, we also can remove our hinges to take the clamshell off because there's 2 bolts holding the hinges on, if you guys remember. And then we can fix Tony's little happy accident.
Boo-boo. Yeah, happy accident. I like it.
Andy.
Now the whole front end comes off. There we go. That should be it.
Super light.
I'm just super strong.
Oh. All right, Tony did a great job, but I'm gonna take over here to clean up the little bit of mess he has left, just for the sense of keeping progress moving, but there'll be more welding with Tony in the near future.
I'm gonna practice a bit on the bench where any mess ups I make are inconsequential and can go into the scrap bin.
You'll have that in his bigger jobs. Stop calling us!
It's the 4th of July.
Why are people calling us right now? We're not, okay, we are here actually.
Yeah, we're not.
We're not here.
My savior. The problem.
What'd you do to these settings, Tony?
Nothing.
What is that? There you go. Changed a bunch of things with the welder, and we're doing so much better now. Our settings were way off, so sorry, Tony. I tried on Tony's settings, and I was having a time. I was getting really annoyed, so I said, screw it, we're switching over. We're back to old trusty. It's not saying that the Arc Captain welder is bad by any means. It's just not, I don't have it set up right now, and this one's been set up, so why switch?
While Ryan was finishing welding all that stuff, I was cutting triangles out of sheet metal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Triangle man.
Yeah, triangle man. I love triangles, Ryan. We know this.
Yep.
What we want to make is little gussets that support these tubes. All the rest of the tubing is going to be supported by the exterior sheet metal, but these are serious structural parts because they attach it to the car.
They hold lots of weight.
Yeah, and they're not going to have any sheet metal attached to them other than these gussets that we made.
All right.
Let's add the last piece of structure. And I say last loosely because that's always subject to change.
Yeah, especially with us. Now, I am not an iron worker who does like heavy metal welding like ever. This is the most heavy, this is the thickest stuff I've ever welded pretty much because we do sheet metal here. I know in the welding world you should be like preheating thicker material. So I'm gonna try to do this time. I'm gonna take some MAP gas. I'm gonna heat up this tube because this tube right here is more than double the thickness of the wall as this tube. And this, I mean, look at that difference right there. It's significant. So my idea here is I'm gonna preheat this tube, then we're gonna hit it with a welder and hopefully not make a lot of holes. I have no idea how hot to make this, but we'll make it up as we go. It's probably pretty good. We've mentioned it before, but I'm going to say it again for the newbies here. We're not welders by trade. We use welding as a tool in the shop. We're not trying to stack dimes and have absolutely perfect welds. We just need them to stick. And they're gonna do plenty fine here, I think. Tony's definitely not a welder by trade too. You can just look at him.
I'm gonna try and stack dimes, but it won't happen.
All right, Tony, I got the side tacked for you.
All right.
Try again?
Sure, we'll give it a shot. If you see it about to melt through the big, huge tube, let me know.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm good. We get comments each week, questions everywhere about the 928. We appreciate how much you guys love the 928, and we love it too. But because it's a customer car, the pace at which we work on it, as well as the amount of screen time it gets, is going to be governed by the customer's wishes. Which is the reason we started Project Jigsaw in the first place. Because it's an internal project, we have complete control over all of these things. For those of you that have been itching for an update, here it is.
This is incredible. It's a testament to many hours of work. We started with doing half the bumper in clay on the car, if you guys remember. We 3D scanned it. We sent the file out to another company who remodeled the entire bumper based off our clay model, and then made a plug and mold for this final bumper for the 928. This is a one-of-one bumper currently, and we have it.
And the ability to make many more. So we haven't forgotten about the project. We haven't forgotten about you. The project is not dead. It's just hibernating.
And you may see glimpses of this project moving forward in upcoming videos.
So we printed out new bushings. The old bushing was much shorter. The plan was that we were going to put one on the inside, one on the outside. That way we had a shoulder on each side of our hinge. We decided we didn't need that, and it was more helpful to have one shoulder on the inside of the hinge. And now it's
got that nice snug fit.
Yeah, it's much more snug than the original bushings, and it's going to work better with this shoulder on the inside to keep everything from sliding back and forth.
Yep, and the pins will be inside and inside too, so like you said, it can't slide back and forth or come off.
Yep, so I guess,
brain moves.
Yeah, next thing to do is put this all back together again.
Again.
Yeah, that.
We'll reinforce that plate that the hinge is bolted to eventually. Most of the wobble now is that plate wiggling back and forth.
Yep.
But that's not gonna bend the weight of the aluminum anyway, so I'm not worried about it.
No, but we will have to reinforce that so that...
There's a lot to do to finish this car.
All right, I guess we better get to it then.
When we started this channel, we had no idea what we were doing. All we knew was that we wanted to build really cool cars, and we hoped that you would want to enjoy sharing the experience with us. We started with our 996 slant nose, we deviated over to a Porsche cart, and then we worked on the Porsche 928 and now currently Project Jigsaw. Making YouTube videos is very time consuming between the filming and editing and doing the work as well, which is what Tony and I have been doing currently. So in the process, we found ourselves spending more time making videos than actually building cars.
So we've spent the last few months trying to find the right person to help us with filming and editing so Ryan and I can focus on car building. It even means we'll both be able to be working on the car at the same time instead of one person holding a camera the whole time. So our goal moving forward is to continue hanging out in the shop with you, but making even more progress on the cars, as well as an improvement in video quality, while still keeping our Saturday morning cartoon vibe.
We've learned a lot in the last 2.5 years, and we hope to continue learning more in the upcoming years.
Thanks for hanging out in the shop with us.
And we'll see you guys next Saturday.